Have you guys been feeling that your luck, prosperity, plenty, optimism, faith, and hope has been kind of slowed down, kind of stalled out a little bit ever since October of 2024? That's because Jupiter's been retrograding. He's actually deepening your bounty. He's pulling back that drawstring so that when he springs forward, you have more momentum, more focus, more truth, more knowledge, more wisdom to make those decisions and take those actions that are highly plentiful, prosperous, and good. Good. He's a god of goodness. And when Jupiter goes direct, which he's just about to do, you'll see a sea change in that fortune and that luck. When does he head direct? He heads direct soon. This is February the 4th, 2025. And until June the 9th, he will still be traveling through the sign of Gemini. There's a lot to say about this. This is a kind of a rare version of the Jupiter narrative, and the rarity is coming because it was last seen in 1989. That's the last time we can go back. It's July of 88 to July of 89 to see Jupiter acting the way he's acting now, in concert with the North Node in the sign of Pisces. So there's a way that this Jupiter retrograde, which happens Jupiter in general, in the sign of Gemini happens every 12 years. The way this retrograde and springing forward is happening now is very reminiscent of the 1988-89 version. So I'm going to show you a chart. And I want you to take a screenshot of this, and I'm going to explain what it means so that you can go back in time and compare your life to other times that Jupiter has gone through Gemini for 1 year and also retrograded and also sprung forward. And the closest one, of course, is 88, 89, but there's other examples I'm going to give you. Sometimes I want you to think of astrology as pattern recognition, how you can look at what happened and then look what will happen and make comparisons. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Lori Lothian, and I'm using the Western Tropical Zodiac whole sign houses. Of course, those good old fixed stars and minor asteroids are my specialty, and we're using astrology as a navigational tool. Now I can't get this hair out of this earring. Yes, I know, you can troll me for that. I'm on vacation in Mexico, and I'm not starting the video over to make someone happy. My hair is frizzy, it's humid, and I'm having a vacation, and this video is my gift to you. All right, so I'm recording on Monday, January 27th. This is going to be mostly all signs delineation. I will be adding more world astrology coming up in February with my What in the World Wednesdays. And I'm going to try to keep most of my videos, other than Wednesdays, more about each sign and your lives and how we all feel under these transits. So therefore, the world astrology and the personal astrology have separate spaces on my channel. Now, if you would like to still get my 2025 deep discount individual and all sign videos, 2 hours each for your navigational guidance for 2025, check the description box below. And anything else I'm doing, I'm teaching a Venus retrograde class for 6 weeks. Want to get on the early bird discount waitlist? Check the description box below. Check anything about me under the ... more, click, and then you get my freebies, like gifts to you, my website. You know, people always email me, what are my rates? Everything's on my website. Everything is either in the description box below or above in the About section of the YouTube channel. All right, so let's get talking about the story. First of all, I want to tell you all about Jupiter, because if you don't understand Jupiter, this whole story is absolutely meaningless. Jupiter is goodness, truth-telling, dispeller of darkness, justice, protector. He rules children, family, prosperity, bounty, hope, and optimism and faith. In this sense, Jupiter, who keeps the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter from tumbling towards the gravitational pull of the sun and falling into Earth and destroying us, is the good guy. He's called the greater benefic. He's astronomically good and he's astrologically good. Now, one of the things I want to say about Jupiter, my really weird lighting in this unit, is that Jupiter is always going to act in ways that bless us, but not always in ways that we prefer. It's a good old Rolling Stones song, you don't always get what you want, you get what you need. And that's because Jupiter knows better. It's like you wouldn't tell a toddler, yes, you can have the entire ice cream jug. The toddler wants it. It seems good to the toddler. The toddler gets very sick from too much ice cream. You are going to be given Jupiter's goodness, even if the goodness is not necessarily your first preference. That's why when Jupiter goes through somebody's 7th house of marriage, they often go, what the hell happened? I thought this was a good transit. We separated, we divorced, we ended the relationship. Jupiter is giving you the blessing and blessed ending. So don't look at it as anything to do with you wanting something, rather than Jupiter giving you always what is true, what is wise, what is right, what is good. And that's how we should understand Jupiter, not like some kind of willy-nilly Santa Claus. Even Santa Claus used to say, have you been naughty or nice? Or a fairy godfather with no discernment. There's something called in Buddhism called idiot compassion. It's where you give something to help somebody, but in compassion, but the idiocy is in that it has no real merit. It's not really going to help that person, right? Maybe like when you meet a homeless person, when I do, my charitable actions are usually to buy them food, a blanket, what do they need, rather than just money. Because if they're homeless, quite often they are also drug using. So rather than support the habit, I'm trying to support their physical wellness. So using that idea of how Jupiter has the wisdom to give you what you need, not you want. We're going to talk about what happens next. I want you to screenshot this chart. Don't forget, like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. And if you're one of my new regulars, welcome back. So I made this chart for you guys so you can have a handy guide to what Jupiter's been doing in the past. And the reason we do that, there's one simple reason, is we look to the past to make sense of the now. Because what I've learned in astrology, I mean, I've learned many things of doing astrology for so many years, is that we can see repeating patterns and cycles and get the lay of the land from looking in a retrospective view to understand what we might be experiencing now. That said, I will say one more thing before I show you this chart and start to explain it before we do the all signs delineation. I want you to understand that no cycle is ever exactly the same. Does that make sense to you? Because just like a kaleidoscope when we were kids, we just turn the wheel and all the little pieces of plastic or glass fall into place in a new pattern, just like every fingerprint is unique. Every snowflake is unique. Every sky is utterly unique. No two skies will constellate exactly the same way. Because even while Jupiter is in Gemini, yet again, other planets are in other places, yet again, making a new mandala for our lives. So it's never the same twice is the most important message I want to have. Because I have people say to me, oh my God, that was when my parents died. I got divorced. I broke my leg. My dog died, whatever. I don't want to go through it again. It's not like that. It's broad brushstroke archetypal themes will repeat. Okay. So if we lose a family member through death, what is the theme? Grief or loss or surrender. Doesn't mean a family member will necessarily again pass away if that's what happened in your last cycle. So please don't get anxious about this. Okay. All right. So I've got the picture for you guys to screenshot and just making sure it's up on my computer. Otherwise you won't be able to grab it. Okay. I make these videos and I make these graphics all by myself. I do not have a massive staff. Here's what I came up with. I love this new font that I found. The Jupiter one is very cool. All right, so I'm making it big and you're going to take a look at it and I'm going to tell you about it. Now, Jupiter and Gemini in 1858, I didn't put it in the chart, and in 1988, 89. So 1858, in 1858, no one was alive. And also in July of 88 to 89, these are times where what's happening in our sky with Jupiter since May 25th of 2024 to June 9th of 25 is most alike. Okay, most common returning stories, especially if you watch my recent video that came out on Monday about the malefic enclosure of Venus between Saturn and the North Node. That also takes us back to 1858. So it's almost like we're coming back to a full cycle. If you want to take some time to look at some events in 1858, what kinds of things were happening in 1858, 1859, we'll find that there's similar global stories. I haven't done that yet because that's a mundane or world astrology video and I'm on vacation. Jupiter and Gemini for each of us, however, has returning and repeating patterns here. Take a look at this. April of 1965 to May of 1966, April of 1977 to April of 78. Jupiter was traveling through Western tropical zodiac sign of Gemini. What I want to draw your attention to in this travel is that this is a time where, although he was between these months and years, 12 months in Gemini, you'll see that Cancer glyph. That's a sign for Cancer right here. That's because he also retrograded into Cancer and back out into the sign of Gemini. So it really was a time in 65 to 66 and 77 to 78 where Jupiter was not pure and purely in the sign of that belongs to Mercury, Gemini. He wasn't that at all. Okay. What he was indeed instead was he was somebody who had an activation of some area that had to do with what the Cancer story was about and was dragging it back and in and out of Gemini. Similarly, you'll see in 1988 to July of 89, that was the last time that's most like now, because the North Node of Fate was in the sign of Pisces, as the North Node of Fate is now also in the sign of Pisces. And Jupiter was in a square, broad square or exact square, it doesn't really matter, to the Node of Fate in the sign of Pisces. And by the way, Pisces is Jupiter's home kingdom. That's a very important thing that we're going to talk about when we do your sign today. But you'll also notice I put the Taurus glyph here in 88, 89. And that's because back in 88, 89, as Jupiter in July of 88 entered into the sign of Gemini, it was, I believe, in the fall or early fall of 88, he retrograded into Taurus, and then he went back into Gemini. In other words, we were dragging Taurus stories into the Gemini story. You know, you see Gemini is flanked, Taurus before and Cancer after. And sometimes retrograde planets don't care about humans and the bounds we create in the sky. They're doing their thing. We have delineations. We've made a map of the sky and we called it the 30 degrees of Gemini, the 30 degrees of Taurus, the 30 degrees of Cancer. But it matters in astrological terms because it means that themes of Taurus, wealth, money, stock market were involved in Jupiter's transit in July of 88 to July of 89. Some of you might remember Black Monday and the stock market crash, right? That happened. And there was some tumbling in the markets during that year. And so there's a lot to say about how Jupiter, no one wants to have a Black Monday stock market downdraft, right? But it happened. Jupiter gives us what we need, not what we want. And after that, the stock exchange developed systems in place to stop that kind of rapid dropping or plunging or free fall of the markets. They put tripwires in or ways to stop that cascade from ever happening again. So Jupiter gave a gift, I suppose. Now, we don't have any lack of purity here. You'll notice this, that in June of 2000 to July of 2001, it was all in Gemini. In June of 2012 to June of 2023, it was all in the sign 23, 2013. Stopping the share, fixing the graphic. All right, guys, I fixed the graphic for us. So go back and now you can screenshot this safely and have it actually mean what it's supposed to say, 2013. So back in June 2012 to June of 2013. And you want to go back and remember your life then, that's the closest comparison to what we're having now in terms of the time frame, but not in terms of the sky. More closely aligned perhaps is July of 88 to July of 89 with the North Node in Pisces activating from Jupiter's Pisces home. This is not Neptune's home. That's ancient astrology. It belongs to Jupiter. And that's how you can compare. So hopefully you all get a chance to give yourself a chance to screenshot this or write these dates down, because I'm not going to go back over and over again when I do the all signs through this chart. I might simply say, this is a lot like 88, 89 and 2012, 13 and 2000, 2001 at the beginning, but repeating it every time is exhausting. So you got the gist. Now, this time around, we have some crazy ass asteroids involved. You know, I love my asteroids. And boy, we have a beautiful trine from Mercury supporting Jupiter as he turns direct. That's number one. And we're going to show you what that looks like in the sky. And I'm going to explain how it impacts you. But we also, beyond a trine from Mercury supporting Jupiter as he turns around in Mercury's kingdom, which is important. Mercury cares what Jupiter does in Gemini. As Mercury is supporting this turnaround, which is super positive, Mercury sitting on two asteroids, Arawn and Persephone. These are interesting asteroids, to say the very least, connected to how this plays out in our world and individual lives. Persephone was abducted into the underworld, whereas Arawn is a Welsh king for a world without disease, a world with harmony and peace and goodness and health. Keep that in mind. And it's an inventive Aquarius, where Mercury is in an air trine to Jupiter turning around in Gemini. But we also have Jupiter on a couple of humdingers as well. There's the asteroid for the woman who was Apollo's daughter, and she was in the underworld and her partner tried to save her. that story. Anyway, I'm going to pronounce it. It looks like Uradiki or Diki, but I went online to pronounce it as Ervevike. Ervevike, the Greek pronunciation that I got online. Ervevike was, died. She died. She wasn't abducted. She died, and she was basically in the underworld, and her husband tried to save her. Now we're going to bring that story into how this works for the world. And because Persephone was abducted into the underworld, the land of the dead, and Hervé Vique was actually dead, and her partner, her husband, tried to save her. So there's a lot going on to do with the underworld and things that are hidden. Does that surprise anyone here that Pluto, the god of the underworld, of course, is very active with Mercury right now, hanging beside Mercury when Mercury says, let's dig under the surface. There's a lot of this turning around in each of our lives. Well, we're going to dig to the underworld to rescue some lost parts of ourselves, or rescue some lost information or knowledge from deep beneath the surface. And Jupiter is also on another asteroid. And let me double check what that was, because I'm going to show it to you anyway. And the asteroid that he's sitting with he's sitting with Ornamenta. It's funny, Ornamenta is like ornamental, okay? But it's there was a Dutch seafarer, who was also a prominent astrologer, and he found this particular asteroid and he named it Ornamenta. And Jupiter is 0 degrees and 31 minutes conjunct, and it has to do, in the software delineation, with decorations, costume, status of men of noble rank, and things that you feel give you status, as well as decor and gifts. I'm going to call it like some element of being well ornamented and giving oneself a more noble status in life. Jupiter would like all of us to ask what is good and true and wise around how we wish to decorate, ornament, or costume our lives in the Gemini part of our sky. And the story with Hervé Vique, which Jupiter is involved in because he's also in a conjunction to that asteroid, and that's also 0, 0, and 30 minutes. So Hervé Vique was a nymph, an oak nymph, daughter of Apollo, and the wife of Orpheus, who could not bring her back from the dead. Okay, so he was the husband, and he had the lyre, or the harp, the lyre of Orpheus, and he was permitted to go into the underworld to bring her back, but he could not look at her until they reached the upper world. It's like Lot's wife turning to, salt or something or whatever, when there was a looking backwards going on. So anyway, he did look at her before they reached the upper world, so she didn't make it out. And the software will say dependence on reliance, or issues that feel like death or circumstances feel like life or death circumstances, or allowing oneself to be led. I don't know if I'm going to take that to be the way this story looks to me. To me, it's about a rescue mission. This is a person who had a beloved who was determined to rescue her and failed to do so. So we'll see if we can weave that into the story for each sign and see what that looks like. All right, that's the best I have for you. We're going to look at the chart, and let's go rolling through each sign. And I'll mention briefly anything that comes to me about world events just before we tap into your sign. People say, should I listen for my sun, my moon, or my rising? Certainly you can listen for all three. But your moon is like how you feel about reality. It's your mind, body, mental complex. It often points you towards matters to do with where you live, your domicile, and your home. Whereas the sun is about your deeper essence, your eternal nature. And you could say it points you towards career and purpose, because you're born for a reason, your soul's here for a reason. And the rising sign is a character in the game of life, in the avatar and the simulation and this matrix. I find that as I get older and I get wiser and I get more true to myself, I live more from the solar story, my Aries sun, than my Aquarius rising. So I'm not saying that you should be feeling bad if your ascendant always rings true for you. But you may find as you get older and a little bit more in line with your sort of deepest essence and core nature and essential self, that you're actually operating much more directly from the solar impulse, and the character is secondary. The character is your rising sign. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at all signs. We'll start with Aries. Okay, I'm bringing in the pictures for you guys, and we're going to get started with Aries. I think it's not cute for Aries, but I'm all right with that. Here we go. There we are. So we're starting with Gemini, but not really. Okay, let's put us back and start with Aries for simplicity. Now, one of the things I didn't mention in the intro, but I will remind us of. There's a very powerful fixed star, Aldebaraan here, the eye of the bull. It's at 10 degrees of Gemini. And the last time, Jupiter was retrograding back and forth here, which was June of 2012 to June of 2013, he also turned direct on the same star. So we have that repeating theme from 2012-13 as Jupiter was bound within Gemini and turned around on the powerful star, the eye of the bull. This is a star that can bring luck, wealth, and opportunity. It can bring success in general, and it often connects to matters to do with hitting the mark, the bull's eye. But Aldebaraan is also a star to do with writing and communicating. And it's also a star that has to do and fame, but also with war. So one of the two war stars, Antares and Aldebaraan. It's got a lot of the nature of Mars in it. And interestingly, the flaming sword of Archangel Michael, or the sword of Archangel Michael. So there's a little bit of that energy. And Jupiter is not about war. Jupiter is really not about war. So Jupiter would try to bring justice and balance and fairness and try to overcome the idea of destruction and war. So it's possible that this is a very auspicious turnaround that could complete a war or heal a war. And we got enough of those going on in the world that we could all only hope for that to happen. And if anybody has any time to go in the comments, what wars were coming to completion in 2012 and 13, when Jupiter was complicit in a Aldebaraan activity. And if I have time, I'll do another video on this, doing just world astrology. The other thing about this star is that, it has an element of being, it's in the eye of the bull. So what is it we need to see? What is it we need to actually see? Not just seeing bull's eye, but see clearly, that allows for this prosperity, goodness, abundance, and wonderful things to start showing up as he turns direct. And Jupiter, having retrograded since October 9th, which is my intro, did you notice that maybe things that were really going super well when he first entered into the sign of Gemini on the 25th or so of May, that they began to sort of wane or slow down for some reason? I can give you me as an example. May 25th to October 9th, my channel was taking off because of some really good calls I made in the election astrology, like, the assassination attempt on Trump before it happened, Biden stepping down, VP Walsh as a pick for Harris. And then as I hit October and then the election happened and I'd been favoring Harris and all of that, my channel took a tank. And what was great for that for me was the ability for me to sit back and say, driving for popularity, public appeal, and numbers and ad revenue and greater heights of subscribers isn't the whole thing, right? Because then you become a rat on a lever getting a dopamine hit. And so I decided to take a chill pill about the whole thing. So that was me, October, November, December, January, taking a seat back on this whole storyline. And you're probably saying, well, what's it got to do with me? Well, where in your life did you have to pull back a bit and have to really say, okay, what's true, deep, wise, and good about what I was experiencing as momentum and success, the end of May to October 9th. And now you have to, I call it deepen your bounty. You have to go inward. You have to go to the inner guru, the inner teacher. You're not going to get the goodie bag of worldly success when Jupiter's retrograde. In fact, people born with a Jupiter retrograde are always called to seek the deeper meaning in life. And they often find a spiritual path or a faith in life as a mandate for their life, especially later in life. So how can you realize it's like the dream time? Jupiter's in the dream time, like the Aboriginal Australian tradition, that things are first created in the dream time before they become manifest in the world. And so October through to February 4th, it has been Jupiter in the dream time, helping you concoct something new. He springs forward, so to speak, on February 4th to October 9th, and completes his journey through the sign of Gemini from the 11th degree, while kicking off from the star Aldebaraan, which is very powerful. Now you can see, I'll just show you this before I start the signs. We'll look at the asteroids, right? These are two asteroids sitting with him, Arawn, and BK, and that I told you the stories, what they were about. But the Welsh king is the guy who wants everything to be super duper happy, a happy world, a world without disease, a world of eternal youth. And so there's something very utopian and wonderful about that star with Jupiter, because Jupiter is the dreamer of big things that can be possible. And in Gemini, where Jupiter doesn't see the major details because he's in a place of his detriment, he's not happy with trying to scoop out those details. He'll give you a meme, go big or go home, and he'll give you no instructions on how to do it. So, but he still has this idealistic, dreamy, utopian world with eternal youth and health, and all the food is growing and it's good for you next to him, as well as what part of our lives we need to rescue from the land of the dad, the story of Orpheus and his wife and the rescue mission. We also note that Mercury up here at 12 degrees in his home kingdom, in Aquarius, is looking at Jupiter in his home kingdom. And it's a trine, which is lucky and fortunate and super supportive of something new wanting to emerge here, something new and good wanting to emerge here. And basically, Mercury's like going to try to manage Jupiter from the Aquarius sky. And now Pluto's here. You haven't seen Pluto here for 250 years in this kind of turnaround event. So this is very rare. This is an important turnaround. This little like signature up here, you can barely see it, right? This little thing. This is the asteroid. We have two asteroids here, Persephone, right here, which we talked about, abducted to the underworld and needing to be rescued, and Ornamenta. And I believe that one is Ornamenta right here. And Ornamenta is the ornamental, where we can costume or decorate something to be pretty or beautiful. And it's interesting with this kind of combination. It's all around that Pluto story as well. Like, what is Pluto really up to here? Pluto's kind of holding like a bass note for Mercury. Mercury's like la 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 la, and then Pluto's like boom 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 with these asteroids connected to him. So we might include some themes of Pluto and Persephone again, like the Hervé Vicky. She's stuck in the land of the dead. Persephone is abducted. Persephone becomes the queen of the underworld, and she becomes extremely powerful. So there's a lot of layers to this. I'll let you guys think about that as I go forward. If it feels relevant, I'll kind of pull it a little bit more into the narrative. I'll try to draw it in a little tighter for us. All right, so I'm going to take off this drawings, and we're going to start going through the signs. What about the world? Should I say anything about the world? I'm not really doing that stuff these days on my main videos until Wednesdays start up in February, but let's say a couple of small things. The United States of America has a natal 7th house, and so does Joe Biden, and so does Netanyahu. And so the 7th house here, this Gemini piece of sky, belongs to the open enemies of the United States, and to the open enemies of Netanyahu and the open enemies of Joe Biden. Although at this point, Joe Biden seems redundant, but just letting you know some off the hand Sag risings that I can think about. And it's an indicative of some changes for those people. Okay, let's go to Netanyahu. Netanyahu is a person, but because he's the head of a country, this means that anything that happens to him as a person will affect the nation of Israel. So there's a very strong turning point here where things that got stalled out October 9th, retrograde, no action around goodness and bounty, can go direct in the house of opponents, or sometimes allies and partners, but not more like legal agreements, contracts, vows, and peace treaties can belong to the matters of the 7th house. And because we also see that Venus is, another video I said, can close between malefics before February 4th, she gets out of there. She gets out of the enclosure around the 1st and 2nd of February and can also bring peace. So we have some more hope for peace, is what I'm trying to say, especially as Venus begins to move through Aries, okay, because then she's in the sign of war as a goddess of peace, and that's the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th, the 6th, the 7th, the 8th, and onward. And so there's a strong possibility as she turns around at 10 degrees of Aries to retrograde on March the 1st, while sextiling a war star, Aldebaraan, after Jupiter has turned around on that star, that although it's delayed, by the end of April, beginning of May, we may see a final resolution to the war in the Middle East that everyone can agree is finally done. It's not ever done. Generations and generations of Gazans have been traumatized after this and lost their homes and land and live in a parking lot of destruction. You always got to believe people and take their word. I don't know which one of the Israeli hierarchy there, like of the Knesset, but it might have been Ben-Gvir, we're going to turn Gaza into a parking lot. This is rubble, decimate it. And it's exactly what has happened. So sad and true. And so this war coming to an end. Will not be the end of hostilities. I can't imagine the generational trauma that's happened for the people of Palestine or Gaza, the Palestinians. And so, yes, we shall see where that all goes in the long run. Now, let's start with you, Aries sun, moon, and rising sign people. I am an Aries sun and moon, so I can totally connect to this story with you. And let's say a few things about what this could show you as you spring forward into new power, prosperity, and goodness. Power, prosperity, and goodness with Jupiter's significant aid. And just before I start on Aries, let me grab a little bit of water. Water in hand, we shall prevail. So I just started drinking a lot of electrolytes and noticed I drink less water. So I'm now realizing I must have had malabsorption issues with water. All right, so here we go. This is what we have. And we're starting with Aries. So you guys, Aries, sun, moon, and rising sign, if you don't know what to listen to, please go listen to my intro where I explain which is best. It looks to me like we have a situation of Jupiter having started off in Gemini, and, as I said at the beginning of the video, I gave you a graphic last time this happened, June of 2012 to June of 2013, June of 2000 to July of 2001, and most like the same was July of 88 to July of 89. And then we have it happening again. Now, Jupiter here is extremely ready to bound forward off the springboard of fixed star Aldebaraan, been retrograde since October 9th. And maybe you notice that things that were bounteous and prosperous, and yay, the third week of May 2024, by the time we got to October 9th, things began to stall out. And that's the house of communication, writing, social media platforms. This is a house of teaching, and also learning, skills-based learning, skills-based teaching. And when I say stalled out, Jupiter retrograde is good. Like if you're going to take a class during October 9th to October 9th to February 2nd, 4th that you've taken before, or if you're going to study a topic you've studied before or teach a class you've taught before, then it's just fine. Jupiter will reward you. I taught Sky Reader during the retrograde, some of the retrograde. Where it's not fine, though, is new things. And so Jupiter retrograded, and things to do with the third house slowed down, went inward, went underground a little bit, perhaps. Now he's going to go direct, but now you have knowledge, you have wisdom, you have truth beside you. You know gnosis, you have a deep knowing of what's true and right for how you wish to operate with these third house features. A sibling one younger than you belongs to the third house, and some of this may apply to them, as well as aunts, uncles, cousins, nieces, nephews, and neighbors, and neighborhood, and travel, short distance travel. Jupiter goes direct on the 4th, and you have a bead on it. You know what you want, you know what you need here. And that's true through June 9th. And as Jupiter is moving forward here, don't forget, he wants a world that is healthy, utopian, eternal youth, no disease, and he wants to be well ornamented and costumed. It could be as simple as doing a website makeover or a YouTube channel makeover or something like that, or a revising and ornamenting of a book cover or something very simple. On the other hand, there's this utopian spirit prevailing for you as things move forward to dream the best dream possible for the world. And you'll notice that Mercury is very supportive. Mercury wants Jupiter to do really, really well. And he's like trying to support him, trying to cheer him on under the base note of Pluto. Mercury's saying from the 11th house of good spirit, let's get some serious movement going in your group influences, how other people, you are influencing others, how you belong to a tribe and group of people, how a sibling one older than you or benefactors, allies are ready to support you. Look for some emails, phone calls, and text messages coming in around the 4th as Jupiter heads direct and Mercury cheers them on, because you're going to find that's probably what's going to happen. You may be excited to find some really good news, an offer, someone who wants to put you on their podcast, someone who wants to help you, a friend who has a favor that's amazing, that's so good for you, you didn't even have to ask for it. Your earnings and your career gains come off the 11th house. So there's maybe a nice little uptick in creative endeavors, writing, teaching, podcasting, YouTube, things you're doing in the local neighborhood, even that suddenly boost your income or your career. And you'll see this increase of financial wellness then if you're in some kind of career that involves the communications, marketing, and selling themes of the third house. This is going to also continue, of course, as a general vibe all the way through until June the 9th. But you start off strong with some support from Mercury to give some Jupiter, some significant guidance here. Now, one of the things I want to mention about this story for you is because you still have Uranus in your second house on the fixed star Algol, which can bring sudden shocking upticks of wealth or sudden surprising changes in how you make your money. We want to keep that in mind. We want to remember that there's another story going on in the backdrop. And, Uranus is in a whole sign flow to Mercury. And so Mercury could also bring you a surprising development around finances that changes the way you earn money. He's with the moon, Mercury is with the sun, and the sun rules your house of money, luck. So that includes lottery wins, gaming, speculation. So there's some good fortune financially trying to find you as Jupiter goes direct. So let me know what happens. I'm really looking forward to hearing, Aries, if this is going to be, exactly what kind of change of earnings, exciting, fortunate developments may be occurring in this sky around the 4th of February. And you want that direct motion to happen. So February 4th, 5th, and 6th, tell me what happens. I'd love to hear back in the comments how this works for you. And finally, the North Node, as I mentioned, just like it was in 1988 and 1989, is in a broad square to Jupiter. This is simply to say fated destined circumstances are informing how Jupiter is bounding forward. And so you might notice between now and June 9th that things to do with your 12th house must be accounted for. The end of addiction, self-undoing, and self-sabotage. The need to make destined changes regarding matters to do with your income from digital foreign lands, revenue, and barter and trade, or with foreign people in foreign places. Those are matters of the 12th house, for example, and how you do that money-making scheme, destined increase, destined change, destined volume up, North Node, to the kinds of income you make in the third house. Third house is marketing, selling, communicating, writing, teaching, social media, land, and even a brick and mortar business. A lot in the junk drawer of the third house. Okay, gotcha. Let's move on. Oops, Taurus. Taurus, sun, moon, and rising. First off, you're going to notice that Jupiter's in a money house, right? This is literally making money, savings, possessions, wealth, and financial resilience. So you have your basic food, shelter, water, and all of your basic needs taken care of. It's because the second house feeds the first house, which is your body. So in this case, you're looking at this as Jupiter's every 12-year blessing to support you to be financially solvent or to be able to solve problems in financial matters with goodness and ease. So wonderful, right? And it started on May the 25th. It ends June 9th of this year, but we had the retrograde start on October the 9th. So that's the backdrop story. The retrograde may have slowed down what you thought was your success. You might have had to really reframe things, and things went backwards instead of forwards in what you thought was going to be financial goodness. That's what it would probably look like for some of you. I can use my daughter, a Taurus sun, as an example. She got a job. Thank you, Jupiter. What a lucky break right out of school. That's like, holy man, here I am, May 25th to October 9th, got a dream corporate job. I can't believe it. No one gets these anymore. And what happened? She likes the money. She doesn't like the job, or she finds it understimulating, and the money isn't great either if you live in Vancouver. So, there's things about the bounty that seemed really good at first that had to be re-looked at for any of you, whether it was a job, something to do with spousal shared resources, something to do with investment monies, banks, loans, mortgages. It's all because, Jupiter owns your house of 8th house matters that I've just described from the house of possession. So you had a lot of interesting developments here, probably, including inheritances, including spousal shared money, including investments, mortgages, and banking and loans, and things to look at about retracing your steps October 9th through till February 4th, and then bounding forward into June with new success stories, knowing deeper and truer ways to go with what you value. Because although there's money and resources here, it's a house of your values and your possessions, and it's your I have house. Say the words, I have what? I have a Maserati, or I have good friends. What are your values? And so, because, emotional satisfaction is just as good as prosperity. So your values are here, feeding your body soul complex. Okay, so Jupiter has a utopian vision of a dreamy world of health and wellness. This is a house of what you put in your mouth. You got anything you shouldn't be putting in your mouth? Chiron wants you to get rid of it. No more vaping, no more weed, no more too much alcohol. It's time to cure yourself. That's definitely one of the stories going on. There's definitely a feeling here too of needing to be rescuing yourself from financial hardships or rescuing yourself from dietary hardships, so things you do that aren't good for you, because of the story of Erevike with Jupiter. Now, notice how there's a lot of support from Mercury in your 10th house. I mean, come on, you can't ask for any better turnaround. This didn't happen in the other turnarounds, right? And the intro, I told you about the dates, June of 2000 to July of 2001, June of 2012 to June of 2013, May of 2024 to June of 2025. Rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. But this time Mercury's in the career house, and he's really, really flowing from base note Pluto power and riches, really giving you some support here, maybe suggesting to you that you can open up an opportunity for a new job, an interview, a raise, a promotion. Those are the kinds of things that Mercury telling Jupiter what to do from the work and career space can accomplish. Oh, you're retired. Oh, you're just a student. Well, success in your reputation as a student that benefits you financially. Retired. I never know what retired people do because I don't understand the concept. But I guess if you're not working, what are you doing? Like, are you golfing? Are you at the soup kitchen? What do you do? Because the 10th house isn't just your career. It's what people watch you doing. You're in the high noon of the OK Corral. So in your OK Corral high noon, Mercury wants to support you in your health, your diet, what you put in your mouth, and also your finances. So keep that part of it in mind. And you haven't had Pluto, Mercury, Sun doing this kind of story. And the Sun up there says it's also about property, land, home, and real estate. And some of you might be really focused on some significant career and money changes connected to home, land, property, and real estate as well. Okay. There's a lot going on. Mercury, Sun up there could be some kind of authority figure, father figure, supporting your endeavors to increase your success and improve your reputation and increase your health and your wealth. The North Node in your 11th house squaring broadly Jupiter, just like in 1988 to July of 88 to July of 89. That's the closest approximation. Well, fated destined circumstances want to increase and volume up your worldly success and your career gains. So that's wonderful. So this doubles down on, get a new job, ask for a raise, go for it. You're asking for success, and the sky is saying yes. You may also increase your social circles, your friendship groups, and all of that in ways that are also good for you. Maybe you'll hang out with people who don't drink all day, or, that help you control what you put in your nose and your mouth or your face. That's the second house. So there could be a changing of the guard in the friendship circles here as well that supports you in the wake of this Jupiter turnaround through to June the 9th. Gemini, sun, moon, and rising sign. So, first of all, looks like you've got a story going on where you become very lucky, right? Jupiter is in the house of you. You're larger than life. You're grandiose. You're magnificently magnanimous. You're attractive and you have gravitational pull. You feel like a leader and people want to follow. That's wonderful. That started to feel really true for you on May 25th when Jupiter entered into the sign of Gemini, and it began to sort of slow down or decrease or retrace its step on June the 9th when Jupiter went into retrogradation. Oh, October the 9th when Jupiter went into retrogradation, and around that time. And then he's here until June the 9th. Turns around February 4th and he's here till June the 9th. So you're always going to be able to know what's deeply true for yourself when Jupiter's in your sky, in the sky of Gemini. Your sun, deeply true about your career, your moon about your home and your feelings, and your ascendant, everything about you. But when he goes retrograde, you have the ability to access that knowing more directly. You're not distracted by the baubles of luck and the perks of success. And so all of a sudden, you're really clearly feeling, I got this. Like I am now in my deep knowing since October 9th about not just being lucky and big and larger than life and successful and prosperous, all the things Jupiter can give a Gemini now, but also knowing more deeply what aligns as really important to who you are as a character. This is the I am house. I am bountiful, magnificent, lucky, and prosperous at what expense? And Jupiter will teach you the deepest layers of prosperity and bounty. It's not By the way, the love of money is the root of all evil, not money, right? The love of money is not the root of all evil. So there's ways you've been questing deep into your soul for answers about maybe the price of success, for example. Now, with ornamenta there, and this is the house of the body, this is about ornamental body. I think Jupiter is going to provoke you to go and get fancy wardrobes or really pretty costuming of your body, you know, maybe finding yourself saying, well, I'm going to start buying, you know, Chanel for a change, or I'm going to start buying, you know, Hugo Boss if you're a guy. I don't know. But, you know, ornamenta may be also just how do you ornament yourself, jewelry, you know, whatever, in a way that's more truly who you are, Jupiter ornamenta. That's like an interesting thing. And you're also dreaming utopian dreams, right? Of a better world, a disease-free world, a happier world. And that's the Arawn asteroid on Jupiter. Mercury supports Jupiter's turnaround. Mercury is the lord of Jupiter's traveling. This is Mercury's Gemini house. From your ninth house of God, Dharma, meaning of your life, visas, passports, foreign lands, travel, academic and higher educational places, and court and legal matters. Okay, all of the ninth house stuff is being activated by a Jupiter Mercury trine. Phone calls, text messages, emails, pay attention. Mercury loves to send them. What's going on? What communication is coming from the ninth house? Is it a professor? Is it a guide, teacher, mentor? This is a spiritual faith house. Is it a dream? This is a dream house. Are you getting powerful dreams coming through close to February 4th, 5th, and 6th as the turnaround happens that are guiding you to move your life in a dharmic direction, in a meaningful direction, in a true direction? Life must have meaning, says Mercury. Pluto says power and depth of meaning. And if you've been in an underworld void where you need to rescue yourself from a meaningless life, you're on the true north compass point as Jupiter turns around. On the star Aldebaraan, the eye of the bull, a bullseye, an identity connected to purpose and meaning and life. Now, of course, it could be a judge and a final decision. You're so lucky the judge favors you in the court, or the professor gives you the AAA, you know, that kind of thing, rating, and you're graduating with honors. Sure, that's wonderful. But there's a deep, deep meaning of soul and metacosmos and between the worlds and spiritual faith and belief. It's a belief house. So there's a turning point in belief for you that's going to help you prosper and be more successful through until June 9th. Then it can be the letting go of a false belief as well. You know, so keep that in mind. Whatever it is, it looks really good. The node of fate is flying through that 10th house for the next 18 months. Destined volume up, increase of reputation and career, change of reputation and career, change of career, change of purpose is possible. The node is squaring Jupiter, but it's Jupiter's house. Jupiter says to the node, I want my person here to get on board with prosperous, lucky, good career. All right, that's what it is. And the North Node is trying to support that in Jupiter's kingdom. So it does portend a positive turnaround through to June 9th of an increase through basically decisions and actions you must take and make. It's a square that leads to an increase of success in career and reputation matters. Now, because I'm trying to be kind to myself and I'm on vacation, I'm going to pause and then I'll be right back. All right, let's continue to roll through signs here. I might go a little faster than I'm going so I can go up to the pool before the end of the day. Let's keep moving. We're now talking to the Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising people. So, you know, as I said in the beginning, this is a repeat cycle of Jupiter moving through your 8th house of chunky money, inheritances, money you share with the spouse, banking, loans, mortgages, investments in the stock market. Especially you might want inheritances if I didn't say it, so you might want to go back in time. Did you get any kind of chunky money here, you know, July of 88 to July of 89, June of 2000 to July of 2001, you know, June of 2012 to June of 2013, and May of 2024 to June of 9th of 2025. You know, I have a Cancer rising sister, and we received inheritance monies June of 2000 to 2001 through my dad who passed. So there are stories here like that do rinse and repeat. You can go back and figure it out as well. So Jupiter will bring you money that is, did I say 8th house? Sorry, I'm not fixing it. sorry, this is not chunky money. This is your 12th house, but Jupiter's trining the house of chunky money. That's what I meant to say. So the mortgages, the investments, the inheritances, the spousal money in a trine turnaround from Jupiter on the bullseye star is an indication of an increase of that kind of money. And so you may be able to go back in time and see how those sorts of financial matters went in a positive direction in those years. You got the best mortgage ever, your investments took off, your tax rates decreased, all things chunky money were on the upswing for you. Now, Jupiter in the 12th house is a spiritual house. It's full on spiritual liberation. If you're looking for that, this could provide a spiritual teacher or a teaching, and you begin to follow that teaching or that meditative path or that spiritual path because of it. Jupiter entered here on the 25th of May. So this is like going back to the 25th of May and saying, I was really on my mark and I was really striding forward and I had it all figured out. And then bang, I hit the retrograde on around October 9th, and I had to go back and tend some past things and look over it closely and see what I really wanted. Now that Jupiter is heading direct on February 4th through to the 9th of June, now it's all systems go. It's really good also for finding teachings or learning something, especially if it's connected to career. Jupiter often activates a cycle of wanting to learn. And so a lot of you Cancers may have been in educational mode and still will be through till June 9th. What I love about the turnaround, of course, is the support from Mercury here in the house of those chunky money matters and matters to do with your finances and good decisions and actions and negotiations. Mercury could be the tax filing or the notification for the taxes or something to do with your spousal money and information and news that looks really good on you on February the 4th onward. You can also say that Mercury here could divulge information or news from things that were hidden from view. And so you might discover something. And he's with the sun, who is the ruler of your second house of spending and having and money and resources. And shared resources of a spouse are in your eighth. So it could be some revelations, but they're positive because of the trine. And Mercury wants Jupiter to do something good for you in that 12th house. If any of you make money like I do with international borderless income and revenue, there could be a major focus on increase for you in that kind of digital realm or international money making realm. That looks really positive. This North Node is sitting up there like it was in 88 July to 89, right? In your 9th house. It's very dharmic. It's very much about life purpose and meaning. And it's talking to Jupiter, and it's in Jupiter's house. So the North Node, Rahu, with Saturn, hard work and vision and dreams come real, Neptune, is asking for guidance. As much as you can guide the tailless serpent, it's looking to Jupiter for directions. And Jupiter is simply suggesting that maybe Rahu, the North Node, might increase your focus on attaining more financial security, for example, or whatever, or letting go of addictions and habits and bad patterns, or studying and learning something in ways that are destined, especially the 9th house. That's going off to college or university or being mentored or educated in something that's connected to the meaning of life for you. And so some of you are definitely looking at new educational opportunities that are very fortunate between February 4th and the 9th, as well as opportunities for travel, destined fated travel abroad to foreign places and foreign lands, and maybe a real lucky alignment here with deeper purpose and meaning that feels like it just fell into place. All right, that's what I got for you. Leo, sun, moon, and rising sign. Jupiter is traveling through your 11th house of good spirit. And this is a house where things are lucky. He's in the house of his joy. He was here June of 2000 to 2001, June of 2012 to June of 2013. And here he is again, May 25th of 24 to June 9th of 25, back again. It's all about increasing your luck when it comes to career gains and financial matters in your career and raises and promotions, increasing your friends, bringing you true friends, good friends, rich friends, big, generous friends, enlarging, increasing the friendship circles that you belong to, and amplifying your dreams, goals, and wishes. Now, he turned retrograde in October, and he's now turning around in February. So there may have been a deepening of your bounty, a slowing down. Now he's bounding forward with utopian dreams of eternal youth and healthiness in the world. And he's also with ornamenta. How do you want to ornament your friendship circles? Do you want to buy jewelry for all your friends? I don't know. He's got a lot of support from Mercury. Mercury's in the house of contracts, agreements, and you're definitely looking at the possibility of some increase in your money through new terms of service or agreements with employers or your career path. Also, if you're looking for a relationship, you never know. Jupiter trining the house of committed love with Mercury, look for the invitation February 4th for single Leos for a really good opportunity to go on a date or to have a friend introduce you to someone or go on an event with a bunch of friends and meet someone. Certainly this Jupiter trine from the 11th house looks at the house of romantic true love. In fact, Jupiter owns it, and he's looking at 5th house and he's looking at the 7th house of commitment. And this is from the house of groups of friends. So this is a time, February 4th through to October to June the 9th, where you can meet somebody and it could be your person. And if you're single, it could increase the success, the playfulness, and the enjoyment of groups of friends with your significant partner. Your elder sibling, one above you, belongs to the 11th house. Bounty and blessings coming to you with legal contracts, maybe, from an elder sibling. I love the North Node in your chunky money house because it's aligning under Jupiter's instructions for an increase of chunky money, investments, mortgages, inheritances, spousal monies increasing volume up, and dreams come true way over time. That's Saturn. And Jupiter is activating a very good house for luck as well. Pennies from heaven and windfalls can happen here too. So there's definitely a financial bonus points as Jupiter turns direct for you guys. Let me know how some of the financial goodness may have played out after this video is watched and you're looking in the rearview mirror. And it's not just about the 4th, the 5th, the 6th as he goes direct. It's also about things that unfold through until June the 9th. Now I'll be back. I need some food. All right, let's keep going, guys. I just had a little leftover fajita, so I could survive today, recording on this day of Monday, January the 27th. Let's rolling through the sky and talk next about the Virgos. So again, if you hopefully listen to my intro, I'm always thinking you guys just jump ahead, but here we go. If you are in the intro and you listened in, you might have noticed that I talked about you have had this Jupiter transit back in June of 2000 to 2001, June of 2012 to June of 2013, and it happened again the end of May 2024, and it will end on June the 9th. This year. This is a transit of luck, opportunity, prosperity, and goodness. And Virgo, it's happening in a house for you that is about the reputation and career sky. Certainly, Jupiter likes to be at the top of the sky because he likes to be on the top of Mount Olympus. So when he's in the 10th house, he's all about the boss loves you, you love the boss, you love your job, the job loves you back, you get raises, promotions, you get hired, you get the lucky job break, on and on and on it goes. So what are you going to do with it? Well, first of all, you might have done something already because on May the 25th, Jupiter entered into your 10th house of career. And then by the 9th of October, he began to retrograde. The retrograde is to deepen what you really want. Sometimes it's not enough to have the big desk in the corner with all the money. Maybe you don't like the staff you work with or the people on the job front with you or the career front. Maybe you're doing really well in your career, but it's not enough anymore. Something wants to change, maybe because of his retrogradation. And so as he heads direct on February 4th, he's been deeply helping you ponder the essence of what you desire, what feels lucky and true and good in your work, your reputation and your career. It's a wedding transit. And what I mean by that is someone could propose to you, or you could get into a marriage under this transit, literally a wedding. I have a Virgo rising girlfriend and the guy put a ring on it, finally after 8 years together. So there's that vibe, right? So maybe you've already experienced that, but if you haven't, you could get a marriage proposal out of this one. And that marriage proposal will likely show up before June the 9th. Leveling the relationship up in the eyes of the public, making it more of a thing. And it's just because Jupiter also rules your 7th house of marriage, and he's in the visible reputation. So there's an expansion of the reputation. People see you as a dating couple. Now they see you as living together. Now they see you as engaged. Now they see you as at a wedding, that kind of thing. And Jupiter rules legal matters. So legal weddings, legal marriages can happen under this transit. Now, Jupiter up here is definitely lucky for work. Now, what happened is maybe October through till now, you've been thinking, yes, but, something about this is good, but not great. Jupiter goes direct February 4th to June 9th. Now you can have good and great. Look to the good and great to emerge. If it revolves around leaving behind a job or quitting a job for something better, that's fine. Jupiter brings blessed endings. If it's expanding the job or career space you're already in, Jupiter is there for you. Got a lot of support with Mercury here, teaming up, telling Jupiter how to act in his Gemini kingdom. And that's in the work house. This is your colleagues, your coworkers. This is the workspace. This is the work routines. So we can see a definite work or Artha house turnaround for a lot of Virgos. We do work and we do service in the sixth house. You're retired. What kinds of service are you going to be doing in the world that has a new form that brings bounty and goodness to the public or to your own sense of self in your life, and how you show up in the world? With the sixth house, there's other things that happen. We also have rental properties and pets, and Jupiter owns your fourth house of property. This is Mercury in the house of rental. The sun is the ruler of your 12th house. There's possibilities for so many things here. A rental property secured in a foreign shore, at a foreign place or distant land. Good luck getting that to happen, you see. Good luck regarding pets in foreign lands. This would probably be the rescue chihuahua coming your way. Good luck when it comes to abilities to pay off debts or pay down debts. When does it show up? It shows up anytime between now and June the 9th. So get ready for that. With the North Node of Fate in a way not seen since 1988 to 89, July to July, activating Jupiter in your 10th house, there's fated changes in your spouse or significant other's life that's also beneficial. And they may have some destined expansions in their own reality connected to their own career endeavors, or the relationship is definitely looking for a level up. Again, engagements, proposals, moving in together, expanding the terrain, growing a bigger pot for the relationship to sit in. At the same time, looking at Jupiter at the top of the sky till the beginning of June looks very wedding-ish. Just so you know, or engagements or moving in together. Just so you know, they are buying a property together. Jupiter owns a house of property for you, and home, buying a home or property together if you haven't before with your significant other, or renting a property together with your significant other. And you can go back to July of 88 to 89 to see if anything like that was occurring in your life, and that make those comparisons if you need to. Libra, sun, moon, and rising sign. Looks to me like you've got that Jupiter transit back again. Through which part of your sky? Jupiter's transiting through your 9th house of God. It's all about your spirituality, your beliefs, your dharma, the meaning of life, higher education, temples and priests and guides and mentors and gurus. A lot of people end up with a guru or a spiritual guide, but in our modern day, that looks like a life coach or something. So business coach, life coach, mentor guide, coach, mentor guide. But in the old days, like your guru's here, guru in the house, your preacher in the house. Jupiter up here is activating this beautiful transit that asks you to align with purpose and meaning in your life. It's a house of pilgrimages. I have a Libra friend who went on the El Camino with me, and then it's also the house of book publishing. You can publish a book out of this. Libras are looking for the deeper alignment to purpose and meaning. And with Arawn up there, it's about a utopian dream of, a kind of perfect world with eternal youth and health and embodying the goodness of life. And with ornamenta, there's ornaments there. How do you want to ornament your meaning of life? It could also be a very practical thing. This is higher education. You might be a professor and you might be a student, or this might be book publishing. And there's a desire for some real growth and expansion. And that growth and expansion in that 9th house is definitely ready to take off, right? February 4th through to June the 9th, after having slowed down October till February. If you are looking for a spiritual path and you don't have one, every time Jupiter is up here, he's saying, like, try the Sufi way, try the meditation way, try this, try that. So there's a little bit of that could be going on for you between now and June, where you really find an alignment with a spiritual path that really fits who you are. The North Node is, and Mercury is aligned from the 5th house. The 5th house of luck, the 5th house of good fortune, the 5th house of creativity, entrepreneurship, creativity, procreativity. There's definitely the potential for grandchildren coming your way with this transit. Mercury is definitely also saying, what ideas do you have that are creative, inspired, and enthusiastic that you wish to create something with? A new book idea, a new art idea, they could have international reach or international success or be published by a publisher in a lucky way. Those are the themes I'm getting right there. And you may have been a little bit in the underworld with Persephone here, feeling like you've been dragged into the underworld recently about your creative energies, your inspired energies, your talents and gifts being properly used in the world. That's about to turn around. The North Node of Fate in the 6th house, well, it's your work, your service, what you're here to do, your livelihood, really. And the North Node's going to expand your work and livelihood, and also health protocols. Increase your health protocols, your work, your livelihood, your job stuff over the course of the next 18 months. But this time around, just like in 1988-89, the expansion of the work house is accompanied by Jupiter in the Dharma house. So, I mean, maybe some of you were graduating from university back then, but in alignment with your work, right? Jupiter in the 9th house. Maybe some of you want to work as a professor, a teacher, a guide, a mentor to others, and your opportunities are going to arise for that right now. And, you know, entrepreneurship belongs to where Mercury is. And some of you might be looking at how to move into a meaningful direction with creative self-made business enterprise. And the North Node expanding the 6th house is change of work. Change of work. And Mars in the 10th house says quit your job or change your career. Some of you might be segueing out of a traditional job and into more entrepreneurial action and creativity according to the sky. But if you want to get a job under this transit, it's from the past, really, because as Jupiter goes direct, we have Mars retrogrades, job opportunities connected to your past showing up. And you should say yes, because this Jupiter is blessing you in the Dharma house, and he can witness the North Node in the house of work. So good luck. Let me know how that goes, you guys. I'd love to hear it. Afterwards, let me know how it unfolded in the comments. I learned from all of you. Scorpio, Sun, Moon, and Rising. What about this story of Jupiter back again in your 8th house of chunky money? Now, to remind you, it is an classic inheritance transit, and it will, for some of you, look like an inheritance. In order to go back in time to say, well, when was Jupiter transiting my 8th house like he has been this time? This time has been the end of May of 24 to June 9th of 25. June of 2012 to June of 2013. My son's a Scorpio rising, got a little mini inheritance from his grandma. June of 2000 to July of 2001, same deal. Did you get an inheritance? My son got a little inheritance from my mother. It was the other grandmother on the second wave. It's pretty consistent for my Scorpio rising son. Okay, July of 1988 to July of 1989 is most like this time around because of the node of fate in the same place. And you may have received some kind of inheritance or some kind of money that came in an unearned way. It can be money from a tax rebate, inheritances, spousal resources, alimony, divorce separations, money from stock investments, money from mortgages and bank loans, leveraging money, investor money, that kind of thing. So it's back here. It's right here. You want to ornament it, and you got some dreamy utopian visions and fixed star Aldebaraan, all power, all boldness here for this kind of financial goodness coming to you on the turnaround, right? The turnaround, February 4th to June the 9th. And the flow from Mercury says land, property, real estate, financial goodness, and luck. We also might notice that Pluto here, the god of death, and the house of the family of origin, and Jupiter here could also be an inheritance from a solar figure, meaning a father figure, and some bequeathment or trust money or something like that coming through the sky. It could be grandpa, great uncle Joe, your dad if he's not well. So there's that story for some Scorpios now as well. If you want to buy a property, sell property, and you've been stalled out, my Scorpio son wanted to buy another property with his wife and rent their current one and do all that. Didn't work out. That's when Jupiter retrograded in October and said, whoa, wait up, guys, think about it. No, not a good idea. And it's back again, direct, a second wave of now well-informed, wise, good opportunity for advancement in property, land, real estate, sale, mortgages, banking, etc. For a lot of Scorpios thinking of changing their home in any positive ways, this is going to be good for you as well. The North Node of Fate is in your 5th house. And that hasn't been there since 1988-89. And this is about creativity and procreativity. Now, Venus is in and out of your Pisces house, and there will be some besiegements, and that's another story, or malefic enclosures. Go watch my Monday video. But North Node here over the course of 18 months can increase your chances of having a destined, fated, procreative moment. In other words, you or your partner have a baby. or going to get pregnant and have a baby. That was there in 88, 89, as we also saw Jupiter squaring from the 8th house. Not to put a too fine point on it, but a baby conceived under this is a dead relative. So great. Somebody who's passed away may be showing up for you as a new child. The other one is Jupiter can say financial luck and bounty coming from speculation. Now, gaming, winning money, lotteries, casinos, risky investments and speculation, gambling is 5th house. So I'm not telling you to gamble, but Jupiter squares the node of increase with dreams come true, Saturn and Neptune. So some of you could have a bit of a lucky financial breakthrough, kind of a speculative investment. That includes stocks as well, but don't ever take astrological financial advice or medical advice from an online general reading in astrology, please. Alrighty, let's see if there's anything else I want you to say here. If you do change your home with Arawn here, he's like nutritious food, farms and good land and eternal youth, and everybody's healthy. So you'll be looking for a move that increases your health, because something about where you move is going to allow for that health to flourish in your life. And of course, what else do we all want? We want better health. The sun is there, as I said, father figure, but he's also the ruler of your career. There may be an opportunity to work from home or change your career path that allows for more creativity and more work done from home in the course of what? February 4th to June the 9th. We're baking in the story, right? Sagittarius, sun, moon, and rising sign. Well, first of all, you're like the Pisces, you are Jupiter ruled. So when Jupiter does, you must pay attention. And therefore, this is extremely important for you. And so the first thing I want to draw your attention to is the repeating cycle of Jupiter as he moves continually every 12 years through your 7th house. So marriage, long-term committed love, business and legal contracts, public and audience and marketplace, and business partnerships. Jupiter can bring very auspicious developments in this area of your life, and he tried to do that May the 25th through to now, but he retrograded in October, slowing things down. One thing I would say is if you want to compare how your significant long-term other life, relationships went, in June of 2012 to June of 2013, or June of 2000 to July of 2001, or July of 1988 to July of 1989. These are the repeating cycles for the Sagittarius people. Now, my former husband married me in June of 12 to June of 13. He's a Sagittarius sun. So I can see exactly how accurate this stuff can be, right? So you're back in that same vibration again as a Sagittarius. This energy of Jupiter is being so well supported by Mercury that is another matter altogether. Mercury telling Jupiter what to do in his house says, if you're not in a relationship, find one through travel, online dating, or local community social events if you're looking for a relationship. Otherwise, because contracts, agreements, audience, and marketplace go to the 7th house where you have now new luck and opportunity, Mercury says market, sell, merchandise, right, communicate. Online is good as well. Mercury's in the websites and online world and social media. Riches and power are there. And you may have international reach. The sun rules your 9th house of international reach. It's also very auspicious to find a teacher, Jupiter, a significant other, in flowing to Mercury, who loves to study in a house of learning. All said and done, you may be learning a new subject matter through a new teacher or a new teaching coming up between February 4th and June 9th. Travel, local travel, maybe even long distance. He's co-joined the sun. So lots of travel coming through the sky for some of you in the next few months. This Jupiter bounds direct. And the travel may be with or because of or for a significant relationship. Jupiter brings blessed endings. He has been retrograding in your marriage house. If you're in an unhappy, unsustainable marriage, there's a possibility of that coming to a close because of this retrogradation. Okay. I do even believe my ex-husband, he doesn't mind that I talk about him, people. I'm not giving his name and his address. I believe in 88 to 89, he married his first wife. And then here I am, woohoo, June of 12 to June of 13. But, I just want you to know that a retrograde Jupiter was reassessing all long-term relationships for you Sagittarius, right? Deepening the truth or not truth of that relationship and turning it around. Singletons, of course, February 4th to June 9th, start dating. It's a good time to meet somebody. Oh, shit. Excuse me. My sister hopefully doesn't. The North Node of Fate is amplifying fourth house of home property and real estate, not seen this way since 1988 July to July of 89. A whole different ballgame. The node of destiny is amplification of and volume up and change of home. Rahu can be another country, a foreigner, a foreign place, and a change of home that wants to be spinning off of this. Now, that's true for 18 months as eclipses keep eclipsing your fourth house of home, Sagittarius, but now we're actually involving your marriage partner, significant other, legal contracts and agreements. Obviously, you could sell a home, buy a home under this influence, but change your home. And so we're baking in the possibility of momentum February 4th to June 9th around a destined change of home. Capricorn, sun, moon, and rising sign. It looks to me like you've got a story going on yet again. Every 12 years, Jupiter loves to travel through your health and work house, pets and rentals, and in maybe debts and indebtedness, and maybe ways to pay it off, indentured servitude, anyone. Jupiter in your sixth house. It's a house of bad fortune. Jupiter's a good guy, so it decreases your bad fortune, honestly. So health challenges can improve, work situations can improve, debts can improve, pets can get better and healthy or bigger, better pets. So Jupiter loves more and more, so more pets. Add to the pet family in your home, your domestic family, your animal family can increase. Now, he's been here since May last year, May the 25th. He retrograded on October 9th or so, or 10th, and now he's going to go direct on February 4th. The retrograde period since October might have been some kind of stalling out reassessment around the sixth house storylines, including rental properties. Now, indicating here forward momentum, if you wanted to rent a place to live, or your landlord to lease your home, this is your chance. February 4th to June the 9th. If you want to get a pet, this is your chance. Things are swimmingly going well. Big star Aldebaraan hits the bullseye. Yes, all good things are happening here in your sixth house. And you have this dreamy dream of, everybody's healthy, eternal youth, Welsh King Arawn on Jupiter in a health house. So it's definitely good for your improvements in health if you've been struggling at all with any challenges there. Ornament it, decorate your office. Is it a home office or your real office? Ornament it, decorate it, make it look good and feel good. Something so simple, right? Get a really beautiful dog tag for your animal or cat tag, ornamental on the house of pets. So obviously simple. I kind of would like you to think about what you want to do with Mercury in your second house of money, earnings, and resources. In essence, Mercury says let's increase that because he's with the sun and the light is shining brightly and Pluto brings riches. And Mercury is job offer, career gains, financial increase, better finances through rentals. I don't know, but Mercury wants something to happen here. And you might notice it being very true. February 4th, 5th, and 6th. Maybe you're going to find some very lucky break for a rental property at a fraction of the cost, and you're going to jump on it, or the best tenant you've ever imagined coming your way as a landlord, or buying the perfect pet at the perfect time at the best price. I mean, these sorts of feelings, shifts are happening. You could definitely look at this as you're coming out of the underworld from a time of financial anxiety or downdraft because of the Persephone narrative here with Mercury, and that's going to shift and increase goodness and money connected to livelihood, service, and work. Even if you're retired, we still need money. So it's good for your money. Now, you will notice the North Node of Fate is increasing your third house, and it's squaring Jupiter like in 1988, July to 89. Right. So you've had his general sixth house transit, right? Did I say this already? June of 2000 to July of 2001, June of 2012 to June of 2013, all right, back again, May of 2024 to June of 2025. But go back to July of 1988 to July of 1989. That's the most like this one because the North Node was in your third house then. Did you have work opportunities that required travel? Did you have work opportunities that were connected to marketing, selling, writing, communicating, because those things could come back again, like it was then. But this is more dreams come true. Saturn making real and tangible, Neptune, what you would like to have what you envisioned or hoped would happen in your imagination. And the sun with Mercury, well, the sun rules your eighth house of chunky money and is looking across at it. And so there's a possibility of also some financial situations improving to do with taxes, tax rebates, alimony, spousal support, or some kind of investment in the markets, stock markets, taking off, especially with Algol in the fifth house of speculation. And so you could also see this as a turnaround where you have some financial gain through money luck, winning money, stocks taking off, investments taking off, things like that. All right, Capricorns, let me know how that one goes for you. All right, so Aquarius folk, I'm one of you. I have my rising sign here, sun, moon, and rising. We can all listen together. Oops, we skipped 2 signs. I apologize. Aquarius. Okay, so first of all, Jupiter is in a luck house and he's a luck god. He's traveling through your 5th house of good fortune, right here. And the last time you saw Jupiter here in a meaningful way was June of 2012 to June of 2013, June of 2000 to July of 2001. And July of 1988 to July of 1989, and therefore back again, but different, of course, is May 25th of 2024 to June 9th of 2025, with retrogradation around October 9th, 10th. But now he's going forward. Tell me what happened. In the house of entrepreneurship, creativity, children, sexuality, things were bounding forward. Everything was wonderful. Romance was good. Creativity was good. Entrepreneurs were good. Your kids were good, maybe, or hopefully anyway. It's a fertility transit. You got pregnant or you wanted to and you did. And this was all happening in a nice way, like an easy way, the end of May through to October 9th, 10th. And then everything stalled out. And that's when my channel crashed and burned a bit because of the election politics on my channel in October, November, in November. So there's like a pulling back, a reclamation of the good fortune, a deeper understanding and a trine to your Aquarian nature with Pluto powering you up, what it is you really want to do, or be, or become, because you need the creative muse. The spark must be lit. Jupiter is expanding your muse. If you're not enthusiastic, inspired, and enchanted by what you're up to in this life right now, it's just not working. Follow your bliss is exactly what Jupiter's trying to show you. So you've been really considering that, a lot of us, follow your bliss around your children, parenting, your creativity, your entrepreneurship, the natural use of your talents and gifts in the world. And now you're going to move forward February the 4th until June the 9th. And you've got support from Mercury. So your ideas, it's in the sign of you. Your ideas are important. Your thinkings, your speaking, your communicating, your ideating are very important. I have ideas. I have a mind about something to flow to this new place of enthusiasm. And also money, luck, prosperity through wins, gaming, gambling, etc. You might have been pulled to the underworld, Pluto with Persephone, and you might feel like you got dragged into the underworld and you really don't know who you are. You couldn't figure out who you are anymore. And now you're going to come up out of the underworld. Mercury's going to help you through communication and ideas, or even commercial success. Mercury, Jupiter brings ideas that are prosperous, but tickets and lottery tickets belong to Mercury, and Jupiter is luck. So who knows? Some of you could win. I got a couple tickets in my wallet. I haven't checked yet. Win some money off of this turnaround. If anybody can, mostly likely to do it, it's the Aquarians. Of course, not every Aquarius is going to win the lottery. I don't get when you guys say, I didn't win the lottery, or I didn't get my inheritance when you said I would because I'm a Scorpio or something. Guys, this is general bell curve astrology. Use your intellect, okay? You have it. It is literally a general bell curve, and it's a central tendency, and not everybody's going to have something happen like that just because it's your sign. Your natal chart is specific, unique, and it's you. Now, as well, there is something happening in the sky that hasn't happened since 1988-89, which is the North Node is transiting through your money house. I have a car, I have a sofa, I have savings, I have things that make me financially well, resilient, and prosperous. Second house is also what you put in your mouth, and North Node is change. So change is dietary style, fine, but also amplification, increase, and volume up in the earning sky. So if you go back and think about what happened 18 years ago, like 88, 89 into 90, you probably increased your earnings and you created more money in your life, right? That's probably what happened. Now, this has happened other times. Okay. I'm not going to go through all the eclipse cycles right now. Like, but like 2006, 7, and 8, it's happened before. The difference is this is also connected to Jupiter in Gemini. So I was making money in my first big job in New York City as a magazine editor. So that's what happened to me. And I also got pregnant with my son in 88, 89. And there's Jupiter in the fifth house of fertility. So this stuff does work. Look to your stories in the past. The North Node, though, here is also the node of destiny in a money and resources house, talking to Jupiter in a money, luck, and good fortune house. So I could only say, in some fundamental way, there's an increase of your financial wellness coming off of this story, February 4th through to June 9th. Mercury, by the way, and the sun is the ruler of your significant marriage partnership house, as well as the ruler of the audience and marketplace. And those are places where some of this bounteous flow of luck and money and goodness can come through. You have an idea, you want to share it with the public. The sun says yes, and it flows to some more financial luck, flows to, Jupiter wants to amplify the money. Anything else? Venus keeps going in and out of your second house. And I'm not going to talk about it much more because I've got a video that came out Monday about the malefic enclosure. But she's all about what you truly value in your resources, earnings, voice, vocation, and money. And she's very aligned with Dharma in your chart. She's the owner of your Dharmic ninth house. So I want you to really consider that a lot of what the sky also says is Jupiter, the wise, good one, goes direct in the house of the divine spark of fun, play, pleasure, and enthusiasm, flowing to the prosperity or squaring the node that's increasing your money. Rahu will gobble, 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 greedy, 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 money, money, money. And Jupiter says, wait, good money, wise money, true money. So keep the background theme in mind. It'll help. Oh. So next, it is the Pisces sun, moon, and rising. And what we have going on here is Jupiter is the Lord of your sign. You need to pay attention. Wherever Jupiter goes, you should be on the ball and noticing it. Jupiter is moving in your fourth house, property, land, home, real estate, luck, and opportunity, growth, and expansion. Now, he entered here on the 25th of the month of May, and he leaves here and says sayonara on June the 9th, but he retrograded in October, slowing down the goodness. My sister Pisces rising, her and her partner managed to sell their house. It was a lucky break. Someone wanted to buy this sort of white elephant, and they moved to another house that's better, etc. So luck and bounty through matters to do with home and property and where you live, whether you buy, sell, or rent, it doesn't matter. This is a wealth transit for a legacy wealth. So inheritances from your family line can come off of this, Pisces, as well. Did you have luck around the themes of home and private life? Were you prosperous in and from your home? Did you have some chunk of money come from your family of origin in the past, like June of 2012 to June of 2013, or June of 2000 to July of 2001, or even back further, July of 1988 to July of 1989? This is when Jupiter was also traveling and turning retrograde and going forward in your fourth house. It's a bullseye star. You could hit the mark in financial matters and prosperity in and from your home, or about land, home, property, and real estate matters. Now, Mercury is in a flowing relationship from Aquarius to Jupiter, supporting him and advising him on how to act in the part of the sky, Gemini, that belongs to Mercury. So Mercury's kind of like, oh, okay, well, I've got some ideas for you. And it has to do with what is happening behind the scenes. Backroom deals and negotiations to buy a property, sell a property, things that you're dreaming about, home alone and your solitude, imagining and envisioning, some ideas you concoct in your isolation chamber suddenly reveal themselves as prosperous because you can do the thing from the home. Mercury's marketing, selling, buying, and communicating, merchandising from the 12th house of distant shores in our modern day. It used to be like the Silk Road, barter and trade, ships, Vikings, China, Silk Road, or whatever. No, not anymore. Now it's online digital income and revenue, borderless income, PayPal, Stripe, payment processors. This is good for any of you Pisces who want to do that in order to increase wealth. This is the first time in your life this would have made sense, okay? And so Mercury says, like, it's time to maybe consider prosperity from things you teach or do in your home, and it can increase your financial wellness in the means I just described. And if you have any lingering ancestral habits, patterns, wounds from your childhood, addictions from your childhood, or anything that holds you back from unhealed inner child stuff, this is certainly going to help you turn that around in a very profound way through to February, through to June the 9th. With the North Node of Fate in your sign, you are expanding, growing, and increasing a sense of self. Your footprint of you is increasing in destined, fated ways, and you're focused more on your own needs and what you want. This is true for 18 months. But the North Node is squaring Jupiter in a whole sign square as Jupiter turns around in the same way he did back in 88, 89, July of 88 to July of 89. There's a similar theme. How are you taking your attention away from the marriage house, the significant long-term love house, the house of your audience, and focused more on you and what you want to be bounteous and prosperous in life, in and from or about home-based matters. Now, you may pay off a debt with this guy. You may pay down a credit card, pay off a debt, eliminate a debt. There's no doubt about it. I won't even tell you all the reasons why. But when I see this nodal increase of you, Pisces, sun, moon, sun, career, moon, home, you got a Sati Sate if it's a moon. You're in the smack dab in the middle of a 7-year cycle of hardship that can create greatness. Okay, keep it in mind. But the moon, your emotions, and your home, and you Pisces rising, everything about your life. It's as if you can activate a kind of ride of success, worldly success that you can own, that you can really take on with this North Node increase. But because it's Saturn, over time, cautiously, with structure, and Neptune, dreams that become tangible and real. If you had a long-held goal or dream that you've never really actualized, the North Node can amplify the potential for that to become true. And Jupiter supports the lucky breaks along the way from your 4th house. He's telling the node what to do. It's in his kingdom of Pisces. So this is a perfect storm for some kind of February 4th to June 9th, real increase of your I am quality. I am lucky, I'm successful, I'm wealthy, I'm prosperous in some fundamental way. South Node square is the 4th house. Some of you may change your home. Some of you may move your home. Sun rules the house of rentals. Some of you may rent out your property or rent a new home in the window of time, again, through till June the 9th. Okay, thank you, Pisces. I hope that was helpful. Hope you got something out of that. This girl's going to lie by the pool on a semi-cloudy day. I really lost the light here. I'm really more disheveled than I ever was. But I don't care. See you guys in the next video. This is coming out on Thursday. I'm recording on a Monday, January 27th. You'll see a video from me on Sunday and Monday as usual. My drop days are Thursday, Sunday, Monday. They'll be changing to Wednesday, Sunday, Monday in February, or sometime in February when I start putting out a world astrology report on Wednesdays and skip the Thursday videos altogether. Thanks for listening. I hope this was helpful, and I will see you in my next video.